Hello, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classics, /non-classics. This is episode number 268 in Doubleshot 68. Sorry about that. It's actually episode 266. I'm sorry about that. Correct. 266 and Doubleshot 188. Okay. First up, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Volume 13. This book contains issues 216 to 218 in annual 2012. Pretty much the whole point of this book is a prelude to a storyline that wrapped up last year known as Cobra Nation. Yeah. The whole point of this particular series is that it's a continuation of the Marvel comic that was published back in the early 80s and stuff in the 90s. And it is written by the original writer, Larry Hama, and the artwork is by Paolo Vanelli. I can't say pronounce the artist's name. Here's a sample of the guy's artwork. One thing I've noticed though about this entire thing, I've pretty much read almost every single issue this whole run, and the artwork really doesn't really change all that much, which I don't mind. I actually like consistent artwork. It's very rare you find an artist nowadays who actually has a book more than a few issues. I'm not sure exactly how long this artist has been on here. I have not checked, but I know Larry Hama's written every single issue of this run for G.I. Joe American Hero. And this is not the first book he's written for the other one that relates to G.I. Joe. He wrote so many issues for G.I. Joe Origins, which I haven't had a chance to read that series yet, so I don't have an honest opinion about it. But this is still really good. It's all classic G.I. Joe. Basically, I mean, unlike the Devil's Due comic book, which has been deemed non-canon as of 6 years ago by Hasbro, this book picks up right where, not only by numbering, but story-wise, right where the original series left off in the 90s. So you can kind of say that, yeah, this book takes place in the late 90s. Now, there's no mention of Clinton at this particular point in time, but I'm not sure who the president is supposed to be. They've not said now, but it's my thinking, is that Cobra Commander sitting on Serpentor's throne? Yes, it is. But the thing is, Serpentor's not in here at all. Mindbender is. Now, there is a reason why Mindbender is in here, even though that supposedly who have read the G.I. Joe comic book that was published back in the 90s, he got killed off at age 100. Yeah, he got cloned. So, that's the reason why he's here. But this book is still really good. Sorry for the glare. So, I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Alright. Next up is the final trade for Batman and Robin Volume 2. Yeah. But I still have one other trade I still haven't reviewed yet. This book contains Batman and Robin Volume 2, issues 35 to 40, Robin Rises and Alpha number 1, Batman and Robin A number 3, and Secret Origins Volume 3 number 4. The storyline here is really, really good. The whole, and this actually happens a little bit later. What happens here in the cover of Damien Klein. Yeah, he does come back in this particular thing. After, when he comes back, he's only been dead in the comics at this point, at least for a year. But it's written by Piero J. Tomasi, and artwork is by Patrick Gleason. Here's a sample of this great artwork by Patrick Gleason. Now, as for why this series ended, I think maybe because they wanted to end their brief collaboration after working this book for almost 4 years. But yeah, and Damien does come back in the Batcave, and he got some powers. And before that, Batman beats up Darkseid very easily in a suit called the Hellbat. I'm not kidding. It's this thing. That's the Hellbat. And And these three, who were Robin-inspired costumes, they get to Apocalypse thanks to Cyborg, the Justice League. Yeah, because he has a mother box in his system, so I think it's in his arm. So that's how they get to Apocalypse. And and one of the strangest lines I thought was so funny. He's like even though that longtime comic fans like myself have ever heard of this character, like he's like, who is Calabac? And this explained, Calabac is Darkseid's cruel son. Yeah, no mention of basically of how his mother was actually a sorceress. Well, no mention of who his mother is in this continuity, but who knows? Yeah. Now, pretty much all the Apocalypse characters who appears in here, including the Parademons, are all Jack the King Kirby's creations. G. Gordon Godfrey only appears in here for about one issue, and that's it. Calabac is pretty much the same more than anybody else. And Darkseid, I'm actually surprised that Darkseid actually remembers Batman, especially since the last time he saw him, he was working with the Justice League, and they sent him back to Apocalypse. And basically, he had to spend the next 5 years in a healing coma. I'm not kidding. That's basically how they explain it in the last trade. And but when he gets the Omega Sanction, this little crystal thing, which is from the Batman Superman series, which this series has a connection to because of that. So he fights Darkseid, gets that power. Everybody gets back to Earth via boom tube and goes to the Batcave. David gets resurrected, and then Calabac follows him straight from Apocalypse. And of course, Damien discovers he's got superpowers. Yep, he's got superpowers. And what does he do with Calabac? He beats the little crap out of him. He plays whack-a-mole with the Batmobile. I'm not kidding. That's what he does in here. And then he sends him back to Apocalypse in defeat. And the reason why he came to Earth to beat up the Bat family is because they humiliated him in front of because they embarrassed him in front of his father. That's the only reason why. Yeah, and then pretty much the final 3 issues is just Damien with superpowers, and of course Superman appears in here for like 1 or 2 issues, and they just go to deal some stuff over in some island. The most Justice League is there, but not the entirety. I would say that the only Justice League who's not in this story is probably Hal Jordan, because he was off in space that thing. And Flash, who knows what he was up to. But it was nice to see all these characters. And of course, you have Aquaman. He briefly encounters Aquaman, has him free all the clones that his mother made. And the series kind of ends with, well, before I get to the annual, the series ends basically with Talia. Apparently, she survived and she's got hardly any memory, though that kind of gets fixed in the Robin Son of Batman series, which just recently ended. And the annual is just Batman and Robin in space. Then he goes into the satellite, which I saw it from a distance. Let's see, what's a good picture of it? Let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, from the look of it, it kind of reminds me of the second satellite that was built in the mid 2000s for the Justice League America series, which was originally by Brad Meltzer, who's known for being very well. He's known for writing conspiracy novels. That's simply what he is. But he is a good comic book writer. He's good at writing comic books. I haven't read any of his novels, but that's where that satellite comes from. But yeah, they go to the moon, fight some aliens. And get back to it's a nice little final story. I mean, it's written by Patrick Gleason, Peter J. Tomasi, but the artwork is not done by Gleason at all. It's a completely different artist. Gleason's last issue he drew was issue 40. This one, the annual itself was done by Juan Jose Rock. I think it's how you pronounce that person's name. And the artwork is okay. I don't have any big complaints about it. It's a nice little final story for the series, but the one artwork, I mean, this story is fine for what it is, and this is done by Ivan Veteran. Yeah, I don't like this artwork. I'm not saying it's bad, I just don't really like it. The colors are fine, just that it just looks so bizarre seeing the Batman characters drawn this way. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of the Secret Origins story is that it takes place prior to the start of the Batman and Robin series, and of course you have Dick, who is apparently in this flashback wearing his red and black outfit that he wore in his Nightwing series by Kyle Higgins, and of course we have Zora's and they kind of tell basically of how Damien's backstory, how he was conceived, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff that probably a lot of Batman fans probably know about. Basically, you can kind of say that this is kind of like bring a lot of the Grant Morrison stuff into this continuity, and you can kind of say that this Secret Origin story is just bringing out the Grant Morrison stuff that he wrote pre-Flashpoint into this continuity. And some of the artwork does really reflect that, like this right here, like him doing this. That's kind of a pose that he did during the Batman and Robin series. Overall, it's a good trade. Don't really care for the last artwork, but it's okay. But all the stories in here are really good. It's nice setting up for the series, and of course the series does continue as Robin, son of Batman. Yep, all about Damien. All because what happened in Batman. That's the reason why the series ended. Well, story-wise, anyways. But the series is the character himself now is going to be appearing in a series with the son of Superman, John Samuel Kent, in the Super Son series. And he's also appearing in Teen Titans. That's what they could do with the character, which I'm kind of glad. I mean, I don't have a problem with Damien at all. Unlike some people, but he was the first Robin I started regularly reading when I started into comic. We were in DC about 6 years ago. Yeah. So I get this book, 9 out of 10. Great. Pick it up. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode. Will be episode 267, Doubleshot, number 199. Okay, so then, see you there. Bye.